Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome back to another video of Stardew Valley. For today's video, I'm going to bring you through my top 10 favourite things of all time to use in the game. I'm going to go through each one and explain why they're in my top 10, and I'm going to show you some really cool tips on each item or place. So, without further ado, let's jump into the video and let's have some fun. The first item I want to talk about today is the deconstructor. This is one of my favourite items to use in the game because this item can be just so broken. So to get a deconstructor, you just have to go to Key's Walnut Room and you can buy one for 20 key gems. And what you see here is a big bunch of items I've put into the chest here and I'm going to deconstruct them. Starting with the rain totems. Now, in order to make a rain totem, you need a truffle oil, but if you get rain totems out of a chest and you don't need them, by all means, put it into a deconstructor. I've also put bombs in here as well. I've also put in various fishing tackles. And I've also put some staircases in there too. As you can see there, you get truffle oils back for the rain totems. This is a great way to make a profit. Instead of selling your rain totems or just putting them into a chest where you're never going to use them, you can deconstruct them and get truffle oil. Same goes for hoppers. You can just buy hoppers for a few key gems, put them into a deconstructor and get back radioactive bars. If you combine that with the blacksmithing perk, you can sell those radioactive bars for 4,500 gold a pop. So you can make huge money using key gems if you have some hoppers and a deconstructor. You can also put regular bombs into the deconstructor as well, and you can get back tons and tons of iron ores. It's very easy to get bombs if you just put quartz into Crystallariums. And you can also get tons of stone back if you put staircases into deconstructors. Very easy way to get staircases is to just have Crystallariums with jades and trade those into the desert trader. I'm also getting back some copper, gold bars and iron bars here from putting in some fishing tackles. So what we see here is we have 2 iron bars, 2 gold bars and 1 copper bar. They are from various fishing tackles. If we look at the spinner here, 2 iron bars to make a spinner. Look at the treasure hunter, 2 gold bars to make a treasure hunter. So when those tackles are almost depleted, just put them into the deconstructor and you'll get back those tackles again brand new. The trap bobber is almost the same, only difference is you have to come up with the 10 pieces of sap yourself, and sap is super easy to get in the game. You get back the copper bar, which is the main ingredient for the trap bobber. And that sums up why I love the deconstructor so much, because it is just so good in terms of money making and resources. Next up, let's talk about the Crystallarium. I can't get enough of Crystallariums. It has multiple uses. Obviously, the main use for it is jades, and we all know why we put jades into a Crystallarium. It is to bring to the desert trader on a Sunday to trade them in for staircases so we can do super efficient skull cavern runs, but there's other things you can put into Crystallarium. You can put in emeralds, trade those in for cheese from the desert trader. You can put in fairy stone, give those to Sophia as a loved gift if you have Stardew Valley expanded. You can put in marble, and you need that to make the marble blazers. Rubies, of course, for the spicy eel. Diamonds, of course, for liked or loved gifts or triple shot espressos. Amethysts also for loved gifts. We also have quartz as well for bombs, or refined quartz, of course. Frozen tears, which is a loved gift for Sebastian. And of course, lemon stones, which is also a loved gift for the dwarf. And there's loads of other things you can put into these Crystallariums. Let's just name it off a few. So, what are your top 10 loved things in this game? Let me know in the comments and we can have a little bit of a friendly debate. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Prismatic Shard. The Prismatic Shards are absolutely awesome in Stardew Valley. When you first start the game, the Prismatic Shard is indeed a rare item, but the more you play the game, the more chances you'll have in getting these lovely minerals. You can do loads of things with Prismatic Shards. You can get magic rock candies with them. You can even get prismatic weapons known as galaxy weapons, and you can even upgrade those to infinity weapons. So this is my lovely prismatic shed. I just put the hero statue in there because I think it's a really cool statue, and you get that statue for completing the community center. I also have prismatic jellies in there too, which is a rare item you get from a special orders quest. But more importantly, back to the prismatic shard. The first main use for the prismatic shard is to give it to the desert trader for a magic rock candy. Now, the magic rock candy is probably one of the, if not the best consumable in the game, because it gives you a huge increase to luck. You just have to go to the desert trader on a Thursday, and the desert trader will have one magic rock candy for you every Thursday. My advice is to stock up until you have 2 magic rock candy, then do a skull cavern run. So you take one when you go in and you take one then when the first one runs out, and you'll get a good half day's worth of that super buff when you take the magic rock candy. Not only does it give +5 luck, but it also gives you a speed buff, a huge attack and defense buff, and to top it all off, a +2 to mining. So it is just totally overpowered. If you have Stardew Valley expanded, you can of course combine that with a drink you can get from Sophia that gives you another huge luck boost. Also, if you bring the Prismatic shard down to the pylons, you get the Galaxy Sword. This unlocks the Galaxy weapons for you that you can buy from Marlin. So you can also get the dagger and the hammer from him, of course. I personally recommend the hammer because it is just so strong. You can also upgrade these weapons inside the forge on Ginger Island. You can make them even stronger. You can upgrade them to infinity weapons. Let's go to the forge right now just to show you how it works. So what you need to upgrade a Galaxy weapon to an infinity weapon is a Galaxy Soul. And the 1.5 is going to come very soon now for the mobile players, so you'll get to experience this very soon. And I have tons of guides as well on how you can get Galaxy Souls, how you can get Cinder Shards, how you can farm all these materials. But look at the Infinity Blade now, it's a level 39 sword, crazy attack power on it, but you can upgrade it further. Put 3 rubies into it, 182 to 208 damage, cannot beat the Infinity weapons. You can even enhance it further by imbuing it with the power of a Prismatic shard. It now has the Crusader enchant, it does bonus damage against undead enemies. So this is why the Prismatic shard is so good, because it opens up huge endgame portions of the game. Next up, we have the auto petter, and I absolutely love the auto petter, and it's one of the main reasons why I go the Georgia route. It's because I can just buy them in the Georgia Mart once you complete all of the Georgia bundles. Now we have Gar2 here, which is a lovely animal, 41 months old, but Gar2 is very unhappy at the moment. Not to worry, the auto petter is going to maximise Gar2's hearts in just a couple of weeks. Auto petters don't just maintain the friendship your animals have, they also gradually increase the friendship the animals have. The reason why these animals have no hearts at the moment is because they were simply neglected for about a year. I totally forgot about them and they ran out of food. Speaking of auto petters, you can simply buy one here for 50,000 gold inside the Georgia Mart. It is expensive, but it is so worth it if you have the money. By all means, buy one, especially if you're not getting great luck in the Skull Cavern, you know. Speaking of the Skull Cavern, you can get these from the Skull Cavern treasure rooms. You can get the auto petters. Now, it did take me quite a number of attempts to get that one, but sometimes you can get lucky and you could nab 4 or 5 of them in one run. Next up, let's talk about the next item that I absolutely love, and everyone is going to know this one. It is the tea sapling. To get the tea sapling, you just need 2 hearts with Caroline. Caroline absolutely loves summer spangles. She also loves fish taco. Now, you're probably not going to have access to those in the spring, so going with a daffodil is a good strategy. She likes daffodils. And if you can give her a few daffodils, especially a gold or an iridium daffodil, you know, they'll do very well with Caroline. Once you get to 2 hearts, you can go into her special sunroom here. And when you go into this room, there's actually a tea sapling inside here, and you can get a tea leaf off it every day at the end of each season. You can process the tea leaf into either a green tea if used in a cake, or a pickled tea leaf if used in a preserve jar. But I recommend you don't do that. Instead, just make the tea sapling and sell it as it is, because you will get a whopping 500 gold for each tea sapling made. What's the best way to make tea saplings? Why, just plant tons and tons of forage on your farm. Best way to get tons of forage on your farm is to just keep accumulating wild seeds for that season. So I'm going to turn all these forageables into fall wild seeds, and I have 2 options. I could then process them into tea saplings, or I could make even more forageables and just plant them in the farm. My advice is just keep multiplying them until the end of the season, and then at the end just turn them into tea saplings. So first you make the wild seeds. Once they're made, you can then make the tea sapling. You just need fibre and wood on top of the wild seeds to make these. It is super easy to make, and it is just so profitable. I just made 199 of them right there with just a small forage farm. Not too many forageables. Let's see how much money I'm going to get for these. I'm going to get a whopping 99,500 gold for 199 tea saplings. Each one sells for 500 gold. This is a super money maker early on in the game. If you utilize this tactic and go the Jojo route, you'll have more or less the whole game unlocked, you know, by the time you're halfway through summer, easily. The next thing on my super favorites list is the heavy tapper. These things are absolutely amazing. Basically, to make these, you have to buy the recipe, of course, from Key's Secret Walnut Room, but you just need some hardwood and radioactive bars. You can make as many of these as you want. They're not too expensive, considering what other things cost to make. The heavy tapper basically acts as a regular tapper, except it works twice as fast, meaning you can bang out some serious resins if you want to make some serious cakes. As you can see here, I'm using Stardew Valley expanded, so the desert is a little bit bigger, and I can now use the desert for production space. So I've got tons of cakes put down there. The main ingredient for the cake is the oak resin. Later on in the game, the wood, the copper and the iron become very common, especially when you start doing big Skull Cavern runs and the like, and especially when you start using deconstructors and whatnot, and, you know, just burning through items that you don't need. You'll also have so much money you can just buy stuff off Clint anyway, but heavy tappers are the way to go, and I think they're absolutely amazing. The next thing we're going to talk about here now is the Burglar ring. Now, you can get the Burglar ring for killing 500 dust sprites. As you can see there, I've got 726 dead. And on some other files, I have thousands of them dead, because farming dust sprites with a Burglar ring and a monster musk combined is the best way to get your hands on tons and tons of coal. Once you unlock the Burglar ring, you can actually buy copies of it from Marlin here. It's only 20,000 gold. You can get as many Burglar rings as you want, which means you can set up loads of great combinations with it. As you can see here, I have a Burglar ring combined with a luck ring, which is a really nice combination. And for the second ring, I just have an Iridium band combined with a ruby ring for 20% increased attack power. So I'm just going to go down here now. I'm just going to show you some unedited footage of me just going through a few levels in the regular caves using a monster musk, and just look at all the dust sprites. I also have the Burglar ring equipped, so these dust sprites are dropping extra coal when they are defeated. Now, this tactic can be optimized, of course, and I could have traded out my ruby ring for a savage ring, which means I could have got a speed buff whenever I killed an enemy, so I could have moved a lot faster. I also could have taken a food buff to increase my speed, and I could have taken a triple shot espresso for a further speed increase, basically turning myself into a walking Terminator, and you literally just fly through the mines. I also could have traded out my luck ring for a napalm ring, so when I kill enemies, you know, the nodes around them would also dissolve. So there's loads of combinations you can use if you really want to speed up your ore gathering techniques. But just to show you the Burglar ring in its raw form, it's an absolutely magnificent ring when it comes to farming monster drops from enemies, especially coal from the dust sprites. But make sure you use it with the monster musk so you can use it to maximum efficiency. Just look at all the dust sprites here, and not only are they dropping coal for me, but they're dropping loads of other great stuff too, including coffee beans. And even if the bats come along, or the slimes, you know, you're getting bombs off the bats, you're getting tons of slime after slimes and dwarf scrolls and everything else that you need to progress the game. So when it comes to rings in the game, I do rank the Burglar ring as a top tier ring that everyone should get, and you should use it, you know, if you're ever doing any sort of adventuring or resource gathering. The Burglar ring is definitely a must have. Next up, one of the places and vendors that I love in this game is Gus. Gus is absolutely amazing. He has beer on the go. Loads of people love beer. You know, Shane loves it, Pam loves it. You've also got salads that he sells all the time. Leah loves those. You've got spaghetti, of course. Robin loves those. Victor loves those from Expanded. He's got pizza. Shane loves those. He's got coffee, of course. Harvey loves those. And he also has a rotating stock. Today it's a Mackie roll. But that could be loads of other things, you know. There could be a pink cake up there. There could be a fried calamari up there. Gus is just so handy when it comes to giving people loved gifts, especially if it's their birthdays. It's always worth checking out his rotating stock every day, because he will surprise you occasionally, and he will have something that's really hard to get. Maybe it's a complete breakfast or a salmon dinner, but Gus is just amazing. Speaking about vendors in this game, I also really like Krobus. I like Krobus for multiple reasons. Number one, I love the fact that he's down in the sewers, and the sewers offers loads of things to do, including the legendary fishes you can pull up. He also sells real nice things like the return scepter, the monster fireplace, He also sells void essences and solar essences. They're really handy, especially if you want to make an iridium band and you don't have a whole lot of essences. You can just buy them off him. He also sells the void egg, and he's got mixed seeds today, which are really nice, especially if you want to make fiber seeds later on, you know. But what I love about this place too is that you can fish up lots of fish here. You also have the statue of uncertainty down in the sewers as well. And if you need fiber, or if you just want to go for a little bit of adventure, you always have the mutant Burglar just up inside that door there as well. So this is one of my favourite places to go in Stardew Valley for loads of reasons. So I can just pop in here. The fibre comes back after a duration of time, and as we can see, there's loads of fibre there now at the moment. You come inside here with the haymaker enchant, of course. If you have that on a weapon, you can get back loads of hay from this place as well, saving you a bit of money. If there's flies around, that's no problem, just kill them for the bug meat. So the last thing I want to talk about is sprinklers, and if you've watched any of my challenge videos, the first thing you'll notice that I always try to prioritise sprinklers as quickly as possible. The only sprinkler I don't bother with is the regular sprinkler. As you can see, it only covers 4 tiles. But look at the quality sprinkler, big difference, you know, it covers 9 tiles. And look at the iridium sprinkler, that's covering 25 tiles. So as you upgrade the sprinklers, the tiles that they cover is huge. But here's the great thing about sprinklers, you can upgrade each sprinkler to the next tier using a pressure nozzle. So if you have regular sprinklers and they're just in a chest, you're not using them, and if you have pressure nozzles, by all means take them out, put them somewhere. Look at what the pressure nozzle does. It upgrades a regular sprinkler to a quality sprinkler tier. It upgrades a quality sprinkler to an iridium sprinkler tier, and it upgrades an iridium sprinkler to something that's just crazy. You know, it covers way more tiles. So sprinklers are absolutely amazing, and they absolutely make my top 10 list. But what about you? What makes your top 10 list? Let me know in the comments on what items you love in this game, or what places you love in this game, or NPCs. So I'm going to leave the video there, and I'll upload the next Stardew Valley video in the next few days as per usual. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button and help the GamerGar community grow. I'd really appreciate it if you did. I hope you have a good week, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.